If you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to let you know that if you'd prefer to listen to this episode as a podcast, you can click the link down in the description, which will take you to our Spotify, where we will be uploading all of our longer review-type videos as podcasts. And if you'd rather keep watching the longer videos here on the channel, that is fine too, because in addition to being on the Spotify, they will continue to be posted on this YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Plocast. We are here with our review of the Bad Batch Episode 13, Infested, Season 1, Episode 13, because I believe we are getting a second season, which should be pretty cool. This one will probably be a little bit shorter. We say that a lot, and then it ends up not being that way. But I feel like this time it really might be shorter.
It might be true, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about our thoughts later on, but first, normally we have like an outline for these videos. Like we'll go topic by topic and then break down, subsections of that. Like we'll talk about the Bad Batch and then, Wrecker did this, Hunter did this. I really don't feel like there's enough in this episode to do that. So we just kind of have one big section here, just things from the episode. And while this may not have been everyone's favorite, it also was not our favorite. So, but there were some cool things. There were things in it that we didn't hate.
Yes.
So I guess we'll just jump into talking about the episode. Probably the most interesting thing from the episode for me, anyway, was this character of Roland. I thought he was actually pretty interesting. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we never see him again. I really wouldn't care. But I don't know, it just he felt different because normally you have a villain like this who's just like a bad guy and like that's about it. And he pretty much was. But his his demeanor was a little bit different. He was always like calm, and he seemed, other than when like Ruby was missing and he was freaking out, the entire time he was pretty chill about everything. Right after he got his one horn cut off, he was like, "Yeah, this is fine. It's worth it." So, but I think that was pretty interesting, and probably the most interesting scene I thought was him and Omega, cuffed up, and he was just talking a little bit about his family, and how I guess it's sort of this idea that his mother, being this big crime boss, kind of set this precedence for him to follow in her footsteps and also be a crime boss. So.
Yep.
It seems like he's gotten more motivation into, taking over territory and, growing like a syndicate, I guess. He has more motivation for that other than like monetary gain or like popularity. It's more to keep up with his family, to make his family, proud. And I feel like that's kind of interesting. I feel like in other episodes where they're just feeling like this, you just have a plain regular villain guy, but they added a little bit of depth to him, even if it was for probably just this one episode. But how about you? What do you feel about this new character?
I enjoyed him as well. My favorite part about him, I guess, not really about him, but it's just that he's a new character. I guess we got over that hump that we were addressing earlier on about just returning. And I think I really liked Avi Singh from the last couple episodes.
Episode 10, I think?
Yeah, it was 10, but I think he was also a little bit. But I think like he's almost as good. Like you were saying, he has his own little backstory about his mom and stuff. We can see that his family's powerful just by the bodyguards. Me and you both were, when we first see him, we're like, hey, they're menacing. Like, what's going on? Like, we knew there was something up immediately when we see the Bad Batch back on Ord Mantell. So it's like those little things that you kind of piece together his story. We did get kind of more dialogue with him and Omega about, again, him and his mom, which was cool. But just, he doesn't have to be anything special. He doesn't have to steal the show. A character like this is perfect. Like, this is what I would have wanted, like, back when we were discussing Trace and Rafa and all those. I don't want to get back into it, but I think Durand right here, it's a good way to do it. Roland Durand, sorry. So yeah, I enjoyed him as well. I think he was one of the better aspects of the episode.
Yeah, I actually forgot his last name until you just now said it.
Roland Durand. And
yeah,
I looked it up again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I looked it up again. Devaronian is the species because
yeah. Okay.
I got that wrong in the episode, but
Yeah,
yes.
cool design for him too, because now he's only got one horn. He's got a story to tell
Mhm,
about that,
mhm.
which is pretty cool. Um, we also the infestation that the title implies or references is the Irling, or the hive. I guess it's a hive of Irling, and that's why they call it the hive. I thought they were pretty. They were okay. They were cool. I when I saw the webs and stuff, I half expected it to be like kind of just basic spiders. Um, but no, they were like this sort of bug, like flying bug thing. And they were a lot bigger than I thought when I first saw them. They actually also were a lot more like dangerous than I thought because you think like little bugs and like wings and stuff. You think, oh, they're like, get out of my way. They're just annoying in your face, but they were like pretty big.
Yeah.
There was
Mhm.
one or two times where they like a bunch of them flew on to one of the mine carts and like dismantled it in like 3 seconds, and then it just crumpled into pieces and fell, and like right off the track. I thought when I saw that scenes like that were the ones where I was like, whoa, okay. When they were attacking those two security guards that were in the other mine cart, and they were like freaking out, and they just like seconds just get torn up. I thought that was a pretty cool showing of their abilities or whatever. Um, but yeah, those, I mean, you're not gonna have much in terms of depth when your villain or your antagonist is like bugs or like some sort of creature.
Yeah.
Um, but for what it was, I thought these creatures were cool.
Yeah, my favorite part was just their animation quality. Seeing their guts spill out, that green slimy
Oh,
stuff. I remember specifically said they looked like gushers, which still freaks me out. But we said it
uh,
before, I'll say it again, just hats off to the animation team. Because when you have like something animated that makes like us freak out and squirm so much, you
yeah,
know you're doing something right. But yeah, like you said, it's just I get cool little faceless hordes at first. Like these are the antagonists. There's nothing special about them again, but they work, and I think they work well for in the episode.
yeah. It's cool to when they add more things to the universe. We've seen already in this series a lot of bringing back old stuff. So like we had Roland, who is a new character. We have these new sort of bug things. I don't believe we've seen them anywhere else, but just more new stuff like that is always cool. But yeah, next up, another standout that we kind of already hinted at was the action. Uh, Now I don't mean the action like the entire episode, and it's definitely not great compared to the rest. But there was a couple little scenes where I thought the action was pretty fun. Like the whole minecart battle, like right when the batch are leaving the bar, and then the guards start chasing them in their own minecart. They're trying to keep quiet, and then the guards start shooting. They're shooting back and forth. Hunter kicks the guys out of their cart and then sends it back into the other one, and they slam together, knocks all the guys out. That whole scene was really fun. Reminded me like Indiana Jones. But
Yeah.
that was yeah. There was definitely some cool moments. Another standout in terms of the action was when Tech quickly uses the parts that are in their shuttle and whips up this like light pipe bomb thing. Um, just the visual of that. It rolls, it gets stuck on the webs. It's like rolling around. It explodes into just like a beam of light just from the source of this grenade. It was just that was really cool to see. But yeah, if you want to talk about the
I,
action.
I was gonna bring up that big light bomb.
Yeah.
Another, I guess, kind of new thing we haven't really seen. Uh, but yeah, the minecart was probably my favorite as like it was tense, was cool. And the Erlings only added to that, and they narrowly escape. Um, but then when they go back again and they're getting spice, and Tech whips it up from like leftover parts in their ship,
Yeah.
which I guess shows Tech skill. But yeah, that was really cool. It made for a good like I feel like a nice Star Wars scene. Something like that, like a big explosion, something like that. It's very
Right.
cinematic, very Star Wars to me. So it felt familiar, even though it was new, which is always like a cool blend when they do it right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's about all we could say on it. I try to think if there's other, little actiony bits. We had the little chase with Ruby, I guess. I like Ruby, like just the creature that it is, and the animation is fun. Um, and I like how another thing I forgot about Roland is I like how he actually like really cared about this pet that he has. And like it shows that he's not just like a heartless guy. So there's something in
Yeah.
there.
Ruby turns out
Um,
to be, and Ruby's opinions turn out to be quite important later on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ruby really added to the depth of the characters, I feel. Really brought out the best in them. Um, yeah, Ruby is also a returning character in this show. So not, from anything else. It was an episode I don't remember. It was like 4 or like one of the earlier ones where they're doing a mission for Sid and we cut to them already returning and they have Ruby in the cage.
Yeah.
I feel like this would have been like this episode would have been good to just slap right after that one, just like because they had the setup. A lot of people might not remember from this far along, but we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing here, we have Sid. Now, when Sid first appeared, we both were, we both liked her. She's an interesting character. She's not really intimidated by the Bad Batch. She's this crime boss or whatever. She owns this bar. Um, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like she's worn out her welcome. I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of seeing her walk around. Hey, goggles! Like, okay, please, can we stop? Like, I'm a little bit over it. I thought she was just gonna be a small character for a part of their story, where this one point where they land on Ord Mantell and they're here for a little while and then they move on. But she has been a main character basically throughout the entire show, and I'm kind of getting a little sick of her. I feel like we had a good amount of her in the show, and now she's just like basically a part of the team at this point. Like she even comes with them on the mission this time, which I guess is
Yeah.
a nice change because normally she doesn't go with them because she's the one that hires them. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Her character just has been around for a little too long, or at least in just a couple too many episodes for me.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I actually want to go even further. I think this episode in general is pretty stale, character-wise.
Yes,
I think the
which we will talk about.
biggest, yeah, I think again we said it before. I think Roland Durand was the biggest character development we got. We'll
Yeah.
hop into it later on, but Sid, I feel like just because of it, like episode after episode where she's like now like okay I kind of get who Sid is. I don't really need another Sid episode, get what she's about. It's cool to see her in trouble, like you said. It's cool to see her come actually on the mission this time. I guess that kind of counts for development, but I was kind of hoping we would have been packed up and gone by now, especially because we're getting very late into the season. But even besides that, even if we had 20 more episodes, still like Sid, like all right, let's let's find someone else. It's a big galaxy out there, full of very cool people, and Sid, I agree, she's kind of like, I don't know, she's stayed in past checkout for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought when we first saw her that this was going to be like a pit stop on their journey. Like, oh, they
Yeah.
went to Sid's cantina and then they went to so and so place and they were on this moon or this planet or whatever. But no, they've been here pretty much the whole time. And like I said, and like we said before, I like Sid. I like her character. She's I don't know. It's fun to see a character who really doesn't see the Bad Batch as that much of a threat. She's just like, yeah, you do what I say. But I
Mhm.
feel like it's getting a little too much. Like if I hear her say goggles one more time, I think I might lose my mind because like I'm getting sick of it. Like a nickname like that. What's funny about it is when it comes up unexpectedly. But she calls them these nicknames in the heat of the battle. Like she's like they're getting shot at or there's bugs are attacking them. She's like, "Hey, goggles," or "Hey, muscle," or
Yeah.
it's just kind of irking me a little bit. I don't know if that anybody else is feeling that, but that's
Sometimes less is more.
yes. uh,
Yeah.
um, one small detail that doesn't really fit anywhere, and in this video that I just wanted to plop right here because I don't
Here,
know where
yeah.
else I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
One small thing that I don't think anybody else is really going to care about. Right, right when when Sid and Wrecker are going up on the hooks while they got the last spice containers, the Sid bumps into one of the carts, and then all the bugs, the Irlings start coming out. One really out of character thing for me, it's really small, nitpicky thing. Hunter. Okay, so he looks down, and then he says, "What's going on?" Now, what could possibly be happening other than the bugs you're trying to escape are flying around killing your friend? Like, Hunter's like the one that's like, he knows what's going on. He's got his ability to like detect things, and he can't like take 2 steps to the edge of the cart, look down, and see, holy crap, there's thousands of bugs chasing. He's like, what's happening? What's that noise? I just felt that was really dumb and out of
I
character.
I did not catch that at all.
Like,
um,
it's a little gripe, little means
that
basically
is,
nothing,
oh
but that
my
just
goodness, bro. Like that's comedic. Like,
oh
yeah, Hunter's supposed to be the guy. Like, perception is his thing,
yeah.
and he can't like comprehend what's okay. I missed that, and no, I'm gonna rewatch it again, and I guarantee I'll
Oh
pick it up now, and that's gonna bother me.
yeah,
Wow.
he said, and then what's funny is immediately after that he like walks over and he looks down to see what actually is going on. I'm like, well, why didn't
Yeah.
you just like why did you he I did I mean it would make sense if he just immediately knew like what was happening and started like blasting at them or something. I don't know. Just a little thing like that just like
It is
separates
very
this
funny.
episode from one where like where he takes down the probe droid, where he senses it and he detects it and he jumps up there. Like
Exactly.
it's just it's really weird. But yeah,
Oh man. Yeah.
enough praising this episode because it's time to talk trash about it. This is my least favorite episode. I can't. Like, this is the most filler episode. It's like a mid-pack Clone Wars episode. Kind of partly Rebels actually, which I mean, it's like a mix of like a season 1 Rebels episode and like mid-pack Clone Wars. I just like even, at least with the other filler that we've had so far, certain story threads were still like attached to the main plot. They could have been barely by a hairstring or whatever, but something that was happening had a connection to the main plot. You could take this episode out of the show entirely and zero would have changed. They don't mention Crosshair or anything remotely close to the plot that we've been following so far. Even at the beginning, when they were talking about, oh, that mission was tough, I figured they would have slipped a line in about how something about Ryloth and whoa, can't believe we did X on Ryloth. But no, it was something with like Gundarks, I think. It was a completely unrelated mission. The episode is it's got nothing to do with anything else that happens. And that's not even like the biggest problem I feel with but just to start off with the fact that like it was just such a momentum killer. You have those 2 Ryloth episodes, which were pretty good together, and leading up into the story, we had this whole stuff with Hauser and the inhibitor chips. What's up with Order 66? Why are the clones turning? Crosshair's like feeling emotions, and he's gonna hunt down the Bad Batch. Rampart is like running things for the Empire. Ryloth might be revolting or something because and then Cham and Era, they all escape. The Bad Batch has got to go on the run. Oh, hey, let's go shoot some bugs, guys. Like, I just don't understand. It's such a momentum killer. Like, we were on such a roll where, like, the rising action up to what was gonna happen in the finale at the end of the season, and then you just plop this in there. Like, I just do not understand. You could have put this way earlier in the season. It would have been, like, so much less hated. The episode still would have been filler, whatever. But just where they put it is what angers me the most.
And even I'm gonna add like salt on the wound right now, because you know why? Most of the times when you have a filler episode like that, where I agree it could just be plopped out and put somewhere else. Most of the time you could be like, oh, but you know what? Hunter learned this new skill, or Omega, she kind of grew up in a little bit. This episode, I said it before, very very bland. In fact, I did not like Omega at all this episode.
Ooh,
Boom, I'm saying it
boom.
because it's I get she's a good optimistic character. She hasn't been around she's been around quite a bit so far, but I could see how they could say that. All right, she doesn't know better. She wants to help Roland. She wants to help Sid, and she wants like the Pykes not to kill him. But 3 separate times, I even said 2 of them. I was like, okay, Omega's gonna be like, no, we can't kill him, or no, we have to help. She's like playing into like a goody two shoes like caricature of who Omega is. Like, I get why she would want to help Hera in the last 2 episodes, because she's her friend. They met on the ship. She showed her, talking to her about flying. Cool, let's help my friend. Sid? Okay, sure, maybe. But Roland? Well, because Ruby liked him? That was literally the reason. Literally the reason was because a space lizard thought he was, okay, he's cool, he'll give me belly rubs, or whatever. On rewatch, it really ticked me off. Again, because of everything that Evan said, when you add what I'm saying on top, it just it makes me so much more heated.
I actually didn't even really like think about it like that before, but now that you say something like, yeah, it's a little.
Exactly.
You know what? But I would have been fine with Omega wanting to save Roland if the reason had to do with their conversation when they were locked up together, or maybe if we had more of that scene, because that was probably my favorite scene. Was when the 2 of them were talking. She was like going to reach for the gun. He's like, "Don't do that," and he's all calm. If we had more time there, and the reason that Omega ended up, helping out Roland was because of what she hears from him while they're, spending time cuffed up together, I would have been all right with it. But when she does this cheeky line, "Oh well, Ruby likes him," I feel like it kind of takes away, because that probably was why. The reason probably was her talking to Roland and hearing about his family. But she never says, she doesn't say that. Why wouldn't she say that? She's a very open person. She says what's on her mind. I just feel like, I don't know, that little bit of development was kind of just shoved away for like a one-liner about Ruby.
And even more than that, this little, I guess, like tiny miniature little arc of Omega convincing the Bad Batch, oh, let's help them out, even though you don't think so. And it turns out it works out in the end. We had that with Hera, Roland, and Sid. So I said in the reaction, all right, let's have Roland maybe turn on her. Maybe she does the good thing. She says, hey, Ruby liked him. And then immediately after she says, oh, you're not safe. I'm going to bring my gang on you. I'm going to hunt you down. And they've made an adversary. But nope. All 3 times, it works out fine. Omega has the same little mini story where she does the right thing and it ends up fine. That's a cool like little memento to do. I thought it worked great with Hera again. It probably would have worked great with Roland if they added a little bit more. But when it's boom, 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 back to back, 2 times in one episode with Sid and Roland, no, like that's too much. It's not cool. It's stale. And then when you pair it with an episode that you could put anywhere in a season, probably put it in Clone Wars, honestly, like very, very, it's like you said, momentum killer, and just all the little things add up and it just compounds. And for me, I think like unequivocally, this is my bottom episode of the season. We'll get, again, we say it, we'll get into all the ratings and everything. There's a lot of nuance between all of them, but I'm very dissatisfied.
Oh man, and then you have it's being filler and it's placed wherever it is, blah blah. But then you have even shout out to Internet Master 1 on YouTube, who left a comment about how we've already gotten like this arc too. We've gotten it with the Pykes and them trying to get Spice back. That was literally the 4-episode arc of Clone Wars season 7 in the middle. It was literally the Pykes going after people who like didn't get them the spice that they were supposed to get, and threatening to like kill them if they didn't get it and chasing them down or whatever. And that was the plot of this one essentially. So like if you're gonna steal something from Clone Wars season 7, why would you take from the worst arc? Like, I mean,
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
They didn't learn their lesson. When everyone, maybe not everyone, but the majority of people would rank that arc like the lowest of season 7, easily one of the lowest of Star Wars. So Internet Master pointed out again, they're doing the same exact thing they did last time. The arc before the finale of Clone Wars season 7, everyone disliked, and they chose to do the same kind of like events in the arc before the finale of Bad Batch. Like, I don't know where the logic is. I don't know, like, I do know the definition of insanity is do the same thing twice and expect different results. So
Yeah.
I would maybe this
Uh,
episode's a little insane, but yeah, I don't want to get too much
yeah.
into it because I'll literally rant. We ranted a lot about episode a couple episodes I forget. Oh, episode
10
11,
or
10,
11, I think. Which one are you talking
both
about?
of them. The one where it was just how where you could literally just plop it out and
Oh, I
it
think
didn't
that
have
was,
to belong there.
yeah, that was 11.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, the fact that like there's multiple of these, not good. Especially since again, we're getting ready to go. Like this is a dramatic conclusion. If even if it is a filler episode, again, like have it have like something tie in. Episode 12. This was 13. So episode 12, yeah, like that had Crosshair in it. That had Ryloth, like that had clones defecting against Order 66. That's like build up.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's I don't know. I'm gonna tap out. I could go on forever, but just
yeah.
very poor taste in my mouth.
What also sucks is like little stuff like that about them. Oh, well, it's the Pikes and they're, after Spice again. That doesn't matter as much if the episode is good or if like these other issues aren't there. Like if there's a great episode, that was earlier in the that was better placed in the season, that had a different tone and a different, story. But if they reused the Pikes and like Spice, I guarantee we wouldn't have said a word about it because it would have been fine. But when you have
Yeah,
all these things on top of each other, it becomes like every little detail becomes something that's just a step up being in terms of being bad. Which sucks because then it just compounds on top of it. So it's just a whole landslide of just wow, this was terrible. And
yeah,
to be honest, like it wasn't terrible. Like the episode itself, I thought was fine. Like it was fine. Like it's Star Wars, whatever. It was a fun adventure. Yeah. The biggest problem I had with it is due to the rest of the show. Like I feel like has the Bad Batch as the main characters. This episode is more out of place than the one that they only make a cameo in. This episode is like less connected than that one, which is just
yeah.
insane to me. Um, Another thing, if we're gonna have episodes like this, like why do we have to just cut the season? I would have been fine if the season was like 10, 11 episodes and they were all really good instead of 13 where like some of them are good and then there's like 4 that are like because less, like you said earlier, less is more. Like if we just had less episodes where we didn't need to have filler, then it would be so much better.
Yeah.
And that's another big thing I have is the tone. The tone of this show is all over the place.
Mm.
Like regardless of the placement, you have last episode or darker episodes, where there's like this stuff with Order 66 and it's deep and the clones don't want to, like Hauser doesn't want to work for the Empire because he knows it's wrong when they should be helping free the people of Ryloth. This deep themes about war and like like manipulation and all this sort of stuff. And then we cut to this fun, happy-go-lucky, ooh, let's go on an adventure. Oh god, look out, there's bugs. Like
Bugs.
regardless of the placement, regardless of the quality of the episode, the tone is not the same. You have an
Yeah.
episode where Crosshair is leading his platoon into the woods to kill a group of innocent civilians because that was their orders, and then him shooting down his own men when they refuse to do so. And then you have, ooh, fun, let's look at the funny little Ruby, let's chase it around Ord Mantell. Look at the funny Weequay and the other guy. Like
Yep.
the tone is so inconsistent. Like I don't it feels like it's like 2 different shows. I don't necessarily understand why that's the route they're going with. That works better in something like Clone Wars, which is an anthology about lots of different stories and different characters. This is literally called The Bad Batch, so it's supposed to be their story. And while this episode was a part of their story, it doesn't match with the tone that the other episode set. We're going back and forth between happy, fun Star Wars adventure and like deep talks about like politics and like just the sort of
Yeah.
things that we've loved in Clone Wars. I just don't understand flip-flopping back and forth. Like you could place this episode earlier and make that fine or whatever, but the tone still does not match with
Exactly.
everything else.
No, I agree. I think the biggest thing is the context. Because if you put this episode, the beginning half of the season, I'm fine with that. Even though tonality wise it might not work out, that's fine because again, it's not building up to your big grand finale. That's where we are right now. That's what this episode should have been. Even if it isn't a huge build up, something at least. When we flip flop this back and forth this close to the end, it's like the worst way possible. Even with Clone Wars, when we do have a lot of episodes like this, a lot of tone changes, a lot of cool different arcs, and although that is an anthology, every time, like when we're building up to a finale in Clone Wars, that's it. That's the thing. We're building up, and it works well. Season
Yeah.
7 probably one of the best. 5, 6 also great. All those finales, mid-season finales, all of them, they have build up. They are multi-episode arcs. And even if in Bad Batch you don't want to do it that much, if you again you just want to make the last 3 the big finale, don't give us a happy-go-lucky one, the one right before it. Get us in
Yeah.
the mood. It's just poor timing, and the tone should not be all over the place this much, this close. Because honestly, if the next episode isn't part of the arc for the finale, then I might throw my keyboard into my window because that's what we need. Not anymore. I want. I need that, or else I'm gonna be very
Yeah.
very angry.
The show needs that to
The
come back
show
like that.
needs it. Yes. So like again, we said all the good thing about this episode because it's a fine episode. This
We're
episode
trying to
works
be not
well
overly
with what
negative.
it is. Yes, but the context makes the tone wrong, and it's just, ugh. We've said it. We've said it enough. It's just not the best spot.
Yeah. The tone shouldn't be this off anyway, regardless of where it's placed. Like, it should be consistent throughout the show. This is not Clone Wars. As much as people meme about it or joke about it, it's not. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be something different.
It's not supposed to be. Yep.
Yeah. And like that's why we've been hyping up the finale because, like you were saying, season 7 especially, and season 6, 5, 4, all the finales of Clone Wars have been, and Rebels too. I know you haven't seen any of the finales yet, but the finales of Rebels are pretty good. Like they're up. Like the Filoni and his team or whatever in these animated shows, they make finale. They can make a good finale. And sure, Clone Wars, you have goofy episodes like C-3PO and R2 are lost in space and they're traveling to and then R2 accidentally squashed this leader that they found pit droids running a fake opera or whatever.
Yeah.
You have that, but imagine if they place that like right in between the Ahsoka arc where she gets framed for murder. Like you have the temple bombing, and then the first one where Ahsoka's a suspect, she gets arrested. Oh, R2 and C-3PO, let's go to... Okay, now Ahsoka's on the run. Oh, and now she left it. Like, that just... Oh, my... Like, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... And now, obviously, it's not that extreme because we weren't necessarily in the middle of the finale arc. We were more leading up to it than being right in it. But still, like, I don't understand. Like, was there no... At the start of this, was there no plan for where... like what episodes were going to be? Because if I'm looking at like a timeline here in like post-productions or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, we have these 2 Ryloth episodes, and then the finale is only going to be 3 episodes or whatever. Oh, well, now we have this 1 extra episode slot here. What do we do with that? Instead of moving everything up so that it lines up nicely and plopping this filler one at the beginning of the season, oh, let's just slip this in. Let's just, everybody probably needs a break, I guess. I don't, it just, you could take away whatever you want from the episode. The placement is just, it just does not make sense at all.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, if this episode absolutely needed to be there, like there's no other way, like they didn't want to push others forward, I would prefer just cut it entirely.
Yeah.
And not even cut it and take the 30 minutes and add it to another episode. Just get away with it. Like, if I don't see this episode, and I'm assuming this finale is still gonna kick ass. It's still gonna be Rockstar. I'm not even that worried about it. So I'm saying, like, just cut this out. I would appreciate it that much better. I have 30 minutes less of Star Wars, and I'm happier. I shouldn't be saying that. And that's the feeling that this episode gives with where it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just irks me. Like, how could somebody look at the last 2 episodes to build up and say, yeah, this is the perfect spot for a filler episode? We were getting right into the action. We were also hyped. Oh my god, what's gonna happen with Hauser? Oh my god, Crosshair's hunting everybody down. Oh my god. Hey, look, it's Ruby. Oh, look at these buggies. Woo!
Disney in the studio, like, yeah, we just dropped Crosshair development. All right, release the Ruby episode.
Right. And like I said earlier, it would like I would rather the season have less episodes
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna get. I feel like probably part of that is Disney mandating a certain amount of episodes,
Mm.
which is probably out of their control, I guess. More time and effort is going into these big episodes, which is understandable if you got to put less effort into the filler episodes because most of your team should be working on the big stuff. And
Yeah.
it's probably corporate mandated 13 or 16 episodes, or I believe it is. But
Mm.
like, why put it here? Put it somewhere else. That's my biggest thing. And that's the main reason it's going to be the very bottom of my ranked list.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it pains to say that to like outright just have a bottom, but it's got to be this one. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
I feel like this is going to be a show that has crazy highs and crazy lows because there's already
Yeah.
like this and like 2 or 3 other episodes I know are going to be at the bottom. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I didn't coming into this. I didn't expect it to be better than Clone Wars. And it's honestly the finale could be the most kick-ass thing that ever happens. I still put Clone Wars over this, and I can't say that I would find a lot of people that disagree with that.
Clone Wars has its own distinct charm. I feel like episodes like this try to replicate that. And honestly, for me, like I don't want Bad Batch to try to replicate it. I want Bad Batch to be its own thing. Clone Wars is an anthology. It has its own thing going, its own mojo, its own charm. And when it gets good, it gets great. Now, even if Bad Batch at its high doesn't reach that greatness, if we just focus in on one good story about the Bad Batch without these filler episodes, I think altogether Bad Batch would rival it. But now,
Yeah.
when you're throwing this in, it just throws it off, and like it loses like all the momentum it has going, and it's just again like I think this finale is gonna be amazing, and if it is I'm still gonna be happy with it, but like you said, I like Clone Wars for me is I haven't seen Rebels yet either. I don't
We're
think
working
Rebels.
on it. We'll
I
get
don't
to
think
it.
I don't think Rebels will get up there, but yeah, for me, like TV show wise, it's still Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Even Mandalorian, the live action stuff, it's still
Yeah.
Clone Wars for me. I was hoping Bad Batch would give its own different, unique aspect in the Clone Wars style, but it's trying too much to be Clone Wars, but not enough. Like it's I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
Clone Wars. Clone Wars number one. Bottom line.
Honestly, over the years, I've grown to like Rebels more and more that I've seen it. Like, so depending on how this finale goes, I still might place Rebels over it. But so we'll have to
Ooh.
see. We'll have to see what happens.
We'll have to see.
We're
Yeah.
done. We're not gonna. We're.
Yeah.
It's like 40 minutes. We gotta be short.
Had to get that off my chest.
But yeah. Thanks for watching, the 4 of you who did. Who actually, who
Yeah.
knows? This one might get more views because people like watching videos about bad things more than good things. People like watching like negative video game reviews way more than positive ones.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And ladies and gentlemen, this was a stinker.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully this will lead into a 3-part finale or just whatever they got up their sleeves. I'm honestly not too optimistic. I'm thinking it's probably gonna be a 2-parter. I don't know. It's possible that we're gonna get a 2-parter finale, and we'll have another kind of in-between episode after this, since they've already established that this is like a gap period. I feel like it's very possible that we get another one like it. I don't know that it'll be as bad, but who knows? I'm hoping and praying for a 3-part epic conclusion to bring the show back into my good graces. But yeah, let us know what you thought of this one. Go ahead. Were you gonna?
I was gonna say I will just say before we head out. For me, I'm all in. I'm gung ho these last 3 episodes. So if, like Evan said, we have another gap episode next review, be warned, I might get very upset. Because for me, I'm expecting this 3-part awesome everything. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch those reactions, good or bad, no matter what. Be sure to tune in.
Yeah, subscribe so you can see Paul rage at the show being bad.
Yes.
Check out the other reviews. The reaction to this episode and the other episodes will be coming out with a full ranking video at the end of the season, as well as a review for the entire season after the show's over. And we'll jump right back into the Rebels series once this is done. So stick around for that. Thanks for watching or listening. And we'll see you in a couple days' time for hopefully a much better Bad Batch episode.
In a while, crocodiles.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Ooh, gosh, that episode.
I wonder if there's any Girl Scouts out there who are like, whoa, oh my god.